The 78-Story Treehouse by the internationally best-selling Andy Griffiths and Terry Denton. This is my friend Terry. We live in a tree. Well, when I say tree, I mean treehouse. And when I say treehouse, I don't just mean any old treehouse, I mean a 78-story treehouse. It used to be a 65-story treehouse, but we've added another 13 stories. So what are you waiting for? Come on up. It's got a drive-through car wash that you can drive through with the windows open and the roof down, a combining machine. But that's how I always start the book, I say. A 78-plate spinning level, barks Mr. Big Shot through his megaphone. A giant unhatched egg. It's a movie. A courtroom with a robot judge called Edward Gavelhead. I know that and you know that. Bang. But I was just explaining it to the readers. A scribbletorium, barks Mr. Big Shot. Andyland, a land full of Andy clones created in our cloning machine. I make movies for movie fans who want action, a crazy excitement full of Terry clones, not Rod's talking. Jillville, who are village you full of anyway? Jills. An all-ball sports stadium where you can play every ball sport in the whole world all at the same time. An open-air movie theater with a supergiant screen. And a high-security potato chip storage facility protected by 1,000 loaded mousetraps, 100 laser beams, a 10-ton weight and one very angry duck. As well as being our home, the tree house is also where we make books together. I write the words and Terry draws the pictures. As you can see, we've been doing this for quite a while now. Sure, things can get crazy when you live in a 78-story treehouse. But we always get our book written in the end. Somehow. Chapter 2. Treehouse, the movie. If you're like most of our readers, you're probably wondering if we're ever going to make a treehouse movie. Well, guess what? We're making one right now. We've got lights, cameras, chairs with our names on the backs, and a big shot Hollywood movie director called Mr. Big Shot calling the shots. Cut, yells Mr. Big Shot. That's boring. I'm Andy, I say. I'm the narrator. Narrator, says Mr. Big Shot. We don't need a narrator. But I'm also one of the main characters. Says Mr. Big Shot, frowning. What about that other guy? The funny one with the curly hair. Where's he? Here he comes now, I say, as Terry runs onto the set with his pants on fire. The day Terry ran onto the MO set with his pants on fire. Get out of the way, says Terry, running between me and Mr. Big Shot. He reaches the edge of the deck and leaps off. Did he just jump into the shark tank? Says Mr. Big Shot. Yep, I sigh. That's Terry for you. We peer over the edge. Are you all right? Shouts Mr. Big Shot. Much better now my pants aren't on fire, says Terry. But you're in a tank full of man-eating sharks, says Mr. Big Shot. Yikes, says Terry. I meant to jump into the swimming pool. Terry swims to the side of the tank and tries to climb out. He's fast, but one of the sharks is faster. It surges up behind him, opens its enormous mouth, and chomps down on Terry's freshly barbecued behind. The electrocuted shark spits Terry out with such force that he flies up into the air and lands sprawled on the deck in front of us. Tooey. That was electrifying, says Mr. Big Shot. Here, let me help you up. He reaches down and grabs Terry's hand. The electric shock sends Mr. Big Shot flying backwards. He crashes into one of the camera operators and then falls to the ground. Sorry, says Terry. I must still be electricornified. Electriwatified, says Mr. Big Shot. Well, says Terry, I use the combining machine to cross an electric eel with a unicorn. To make an electricorn. But then a bolt of lightning shot out of the electricorn's horn. Hit the back of my pants. And they caught on fire. Mr. Big Shot roars with laughter. What's so funny, says Terry. You are, says Mr. Big Shot. You're a laugh riot. This will make a great opening sequence for the movie. But I always do the opening sequence. I say. In the book, yes, says Mr. Big Shot. But this is not a book, this is a movie. And Terry is going to be the star. Me, says Terry. A movie star? Him? I say. A movie star? But what about me? I already told you, says Mr. Big Shot, we don't need a narrator. He turns his attention back to Terry. Is that electricorn still there? Yes, I guess so, says Terry. Well, what are we waiting for, says Mr. Big Shot. Come on, everybody except for Andy, let's go and film a reenactment. Chapter 3. Spin, spin, spin. Fine. So Mr. Big Shot doesn't want me in the movie. I don't care. It's not like I haven't got more important things to do. That giant unhatched egg, for instance, it's not going to hatch itself. I'd better go and sit on it right now. I don't mind. This is important work. Much more important than making some dumb movie. Hang on. That's a weird noise. It sounds a bit like Jill and her intergalactic space animal rescue service returning through the Earth's atmosphere. Whoosh! Purr! Meow! It is Jill and her intergalactic space animal rescue service. Hi, Andy, says Jill. I just got back from the moon. I had to rescue some mice whose rocket crashed while they were on a cheese-seeking mission. It doesn't seem to matter how many times I tell them the moon is not made of cheese, they just don't listen. Yeah, well, I'm doing some pretty important work here, too, I say. I'm helping this giant unhatched egg to hatch. That's great, says Jill. I can't wait to see what comes out. Me neither, I say. Where's Terry? Says Jill. He's with a film crew. They're making a treehouse movie. Wow, says Jill. How come you're not there? I sigh. The Big Shot Hollywood director Mr. Big Shot said he didn't need a narrator. Isn't it called a voiceover? When it's in a movie? Yeah, well, whatever it's called, Mr. Big Shot didn't want it. That's too bad, says Jill. Still, a movie that's pretty exciting. I guess so, I say, if you like electricorns, that is. Electricorns, says Jill. Nog vessels, yeah, I say. Terry used the combining machine to combine an electric eel and a unicorn. They're filming a reenactment. This I've got to see, says Jill. Good luck hatching the giant unhatched egg, Andy. Thanks, Jill, I say, but she doesn't hear me. She's already gone. Never mind. I'll show them. A giant unhatched egg is more exciting than a stupid old electricorn any day. I mean, it could hatch any minute now, just you wait. Egg hatching is great. Egg hatching is thrilling. Egg hatching is Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z Z ring. 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 Oh. I must have dozed off. That's the video phone. I'd better answer it. It's probably Mr. Big Nose. Hi, Mr. Big Nose, I say. I guess you're calling about the book. Book, says Mr. Big Nose. No, I'm calling to find out how the movie is going. Well, I say, I don't know if the movie is going to work out quite the way I'd hoped. Are you kidding? Says Mr. Big Nose. I've spent a fortune on Big Nose Book's product placement. So you'd better make it work. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with all the slow advertising, I say, but Mr. Big Nose has already hung up. Why are you still here? Says Mr. Big Shot, climbing up onto my level. Haven't you got a home to go to? The treehouse is my home, I say. I live here. Well, just keep out of the way, says Mr. Big Shot. We're about to film the scene where Terry painted a cat yellow and turned it into a catenary. But I was there. I say. I was in that story. I tried to stop him. Well, we can't have that, can we? Says Mr. Big Shot. I think moviegoers will love to see a flying cat, so if you could just keep off the set, that would be great. But. I say. Terry. Tell him. Terry shrugs. Sorry, Andy, but it's not really my decision. Mr. Big Shot is the director. They all head off up to the observation deck. Fine. Film the scene without me. See if I care. I've not only got to help this giant unhatched egg to hatch, but I've also got 78 plates to spin. SD plates don't just keep spinning all by themselves, you know. And plate spinning is a lot of fun. Even more fun than giant unhatched egg hatching. Looks like I've arrived just in time. Some of those plates are really wobbly. They're about to fall off their poles. Well, I'll soon fix that. Spin. Spin. Spin, spin. 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 See what I mean? Plate spinning is better than making a dumb old movie any day. Oh. I think I might have spun them a bit too hard. Whiz, whiz. Help, yells Terry. The Martians are coming. Flying saucer attack. They're not flying saucers, says Jill. They're plates. Cut, yells Mr. Big Shot. No plate Helga throwing on set. Sorry, I say. You should be more careful, says Jill. One of those plates almost hit Silky. It was an accident. I say. I just spun them a little bit too hard and they spun off their spinners. Well, lucky for you we just finished that scene anyway, says Mr. Big Shot. Now we're going to film a reenactment of the time the sharks ate Terry's underpants. But it's cruel to do that to the sharks again, I say. They got really sick. It's okay, Andy, says Jill. It's just pretend. They're not real underpants. They're prop underpants, with fish paste. It's actually a treat for the sharks and they're really excited about being in the movie. So if you could just run along now, Andy, says Mr. Big Shot, patting me on the head. There's a good narrator. But you can't make the whole movie without as me. I say. I was there. I was part of the story. We're not making it without you, says Mr. Big Shot. We've got Mel Gibson to play you. Mel Gibson? I say. He's a bit old, isn't he? Not Mel Gibson, says Mr. Big Shot. Mel Gibbon. Look, here he comes now. But he's a monkey. I say. No, he's not, says Mr. Big Shot, he's a gibbon. And he's also one of the hottest young primates working in film today. Plus, he works for peanuts literally. But I'll work for free. I say. And I'll make a more convincing Andy than some monkey. Watch this. Hi, my name is Andy. This is my friend Terry. We live in a tree. Well, when I say tree dash. How many times do I have to tell you, says Mr. Big Shot. We don't need a narrator. I'm not narrating, I say, I'm acting like a narrator. Sounds a lot like narrating to me, says Mr. Big Shot. And me, says Terry. You're a good Andy, Andy, says Jill. But I think Mel is better. He's more convincing. Yeah, and he's also funnier, says Terry. But you hate monkeys, I say. I know I do, says Terry. But Mel's not a monkey, he's a gibbon. This is ridiculous, I say, shaking my head. I don't believe it. Mel comes over to me. Look, he says in a low voice, I understand you're upset. If it's any comfort, I don't like it any more than you do. I was hoping to play Terry. But let's try to be professional about it, okay? Professional? I say. The only thing professional about you is that you're a professional thief. You just stole my part in the movie. I didn't steal your part, I was cast, says Mel. Whatever. I say, stomping off the set. If anybody wants the real me, I'll be in the Scribbletorium. But nobody takes any notice, of course. They're all too busy making their dumb old movie. Chapter 4. Scribble, scribble, scribble. I don't know about you, but I find scribbling really helps to take my mind off things. It's much more fun than making a movie. And the best thing about scribbling is that it's so simple. All you need is something to scribble with. And a Scribbletorium. And then you just scribble. And 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 scribble. Kablum. Oh. You know what I said about how scribbling is really simple? Well, I forgot to say that it can also be quite messy. Especially if you scribble so much that the Scribbletorium explodes and scribble goes all over the treehouse. Cut! 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 Yells Mr. Big Shot. Who scribbled all over the set? Not me, says Terry. Not me, says Mel. Not me, says Jill. I'm sorry, everybody, I say. It was an accident. Mel snorts. Sure it was, he says. You did it on purpose. Go eat a banana, monkey boy. I shout at him. Mel bursts into tears and Terry and Jill rush to his side to comfort him. Andy, says Jill. You really need to calm down. I know you're upset, but being mean to a monkey, gibbon, well, that's inexcusable. I'm sorry I was mean to the monkey, I say. But I didn't mean for the scribble to go everywhere. I just got carried away. I wish I could believe you, Andy, says Jill, but I think you're being a bad sport, and, worse, a bad friend. This is Terry's big break, can't you be happy for him? I am happy for him, I say, and I'm trying to be a good friend, but he's not being a good friend, he's too busy being a big shot movie star. And then he'll probably just go off to Hollywood and leave me here all alone. I don't think Terry would do that, says Jill. Do what? Says Terry. Go off to Hollywood and leave Andy here all tea by himself. Of course not, says Terry. You could come with me, Andy. I'll need somebody to carry my bags. You can be my butler. Butler? I say. Though OGUT video Lord D quiet on the set, says Mr. Big Shot. Butler? I say again, only louder. This time. I can't believe he just suggested I could be his butler. I said quiet and I mean it, shouts Mr. Big Shot. Butler? I say again, even louder than before. I don't want to be your dumb butler. Right. That does it, says Mr. Big Shot. I've had enough of your plate throwing, scribbling and shouting. You are banned from the set. The treehouse is not a set. I say. It's my home, and not even a big bossy boots like you can ban me from my own home. Oh, yes I can, says Mr. Big Shot. Watch this. He picks me up and boots me out of the tree. Chapter 5. Day of the Living Puddle. So here I am. Kicked out of my own home. Sitting in a puddle. Yes, that's right. I landed in a puddle. And to make things worse, the puddle is getting bigger. And bigger. And bigger. And bigger. Oh, this is no ordinary puddle. This is the puddle that will just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it empuddles the whole world. Above, an artist's impression of a puddle empuddling planet Earth. But never fear, as well as making books, Terry and I are the greatest puddle-fighting duo the world has ever known. We are every puddle's worst nightmare. Terry stomps them and then I suck them up with a straw. The stomper and the sucker. Come to think of it, our story would make a great movie. But this is no time to be thinking about movies. This is real life. I have to send out the secret puddle fighting call and get the old team back together. Stomper! I yell. Stomper! Stomper! It's no use, says the puddle. Nothing can stop me from empuddling your treehouse. Oh, yeah? I say, removing my t-shirt to reveal my secret puddle fighting identity. You just picked a fight with the wrong guy. I'm the sucker. You're a sucker all right, sneers the puddle. A sucker for punishment. No, I say, not that sort of sucker. I pull a supersized drinking straw from the quiver on my back and wave it menacingly at the puddle. You'll never drink me alive, says the puddle. That's what you think. I say. I put the straw up to my mouth and bend down. Oh, no you don't, says the puddle. It rises up like an enormous wave and crashes down on top of me. Over and over I tumble. Only my straw keeps me afloat. The puddle gets me in a headlock. But then I get the puddle in a headlock. I've got you now. I say. I stick the straw into the puddle and start sucking. And sucking, and sucking, and sucking. And sucking, and sucking, and sucking, and sucking. And the puddle starts to shrink. And shrink. And shrink. And shrink. And shrink. And I keep sucking. And sucking, and sucking, and sucking. Until, at last, the puddle is nothing but sludgy brown sludge. If only Mr. Big Shot had been filming that. It would make a much better movie than all of Terry's fake reenactments put together. Hang on. Maybe he was filming it. Maybe Mr. Big Shot arranged for this whole thing to happen so he could secretly record it. I look around but I can't see anything except a few dumb-looking cows. Never mind. The puddle is nothing. I can't really think about all that right now because I've got a more urgent problem. Will you excuse me for a moment, readers? I may be some time, so do feel free to go on to the next chapter and I'll join you there. Chapter 6. Trouble in Andyland. Ah, that's better. Thanks for waiting. Now, where was I? Let me see. Ah, yes, I remember now. Mr. Big Shot kicked me out of the treehouse and I landed in a puddle, and we had a big fight, and I sucked it up, and then I had to go to the bathroom. But what now? Where can I go? I can't hang out with Terry because he's too busy being a big shot Hollywood movie star. And I can't hang out with Jill because she's too busy helping to wrangle the animals for the movie. Hang on, I know who I can hang out with, a bunch of the funniest, smartest and best-looking guys in the world. Yep, you guessed it, I am off to Andyland. I'll have lots of friends here because everybody is me. As the sign says, it's the Andy-est place on earth. Hi, Andy, I say to the Andy guarding the gate. "SH, who goes there?" he says. "It's me," I say. "Who?" "Andy." "I'm afraid I'm going to need to see some identification," he says. "But you only have to look at me," I say. "I look exactly like you." He shrugs. "I know," he says, "but we're being extra careful. We had some cows try to sneak in disguised as Andy's the other day." "Cows?" I say. "Yeah," says the guard, shaking his head. "Go figure. But don't worry, we caught them, milked them, and sent them on their way." "Wow, I had no idea cows could be so sneaky," I say. "Yep," says the guard. "Which is why I'm going to need proof that you're a true Andy and not an imposter." "What sort of proof?" "Let me see," he says, stroking his chin. "What's 2 plus 2? Oh. I can't even count from 1 to 10 in the right order. I've got no hope of solving a sum as difficult as this. BAS Baker. I stutter. Eep, ah. I don't know. "I don't know either," the Andy guard says. "Congratulations, Andy, you passed the test. You may enter." "Thanks, Andy," I say, stepping through the gate. "Hi, Andy," yell a bunch of Andys coming towards me. "Hi, Andys," I yell back. "What's up?" "You are," say the Andys, lifting me onto their shoulders and carrying me down the main street. I love coming to Andyland. More and more cheering Andys come out onto the street until there are so many Andys we can't go any further. They are chanting my name. Andy, Andy, Andy. Or are they just chanting their own names? It's a bit hard to tell with Andys. They're kind of excitable. Andy, Ande. Andy. The chanting is getting louder and louder. It's time for me to speak to them. The Andys lower me to the ground. Then they arrange themselves in a pyramid and help climb up. A chair goes up from the crowd. "Quiet down, every Andy," I say. But they don't quiet down. They're getting louder. And louder. And louder. "Every Andy," I yell. "Shut up." "No," they yell. "You shut up." "No," I say. "You shut up." "No, you shut up," they say. "No, you shut up," I yell. "No, you shut up," they yell back. "No," I shout as loudly as I can. "You shut up infinity times more than whatever you say." The Andys are silent. You've got to hand it to me, I sure know how to shut myself up. "Thank you," I say. "And thanks for the parade." I love parades. "We know," they yell in unison. It is good to know that I can count on Andys like you to cheer me up. "We know," they yell again. You will be pleased to hear that I will be staying in Andyland until they finish filming the Treehouse movie. The Andys gasp. There's going to be a movie? They say. Yes, I say, but dash. Why, shouts the crowd. A Treehouse movie. We're going to be movie stars. We're going to be famous. Hold on, I shout. Before you get too excited, you should know one thing, we are not in it. We've been replaced by a monkey, and Terry is the star. The Andys gasp again. Terry is the star? Yeah, I say, shrugging. I'm as surprised as you are. He's not even that funny. Yes, he is, say the Andys. Terry is really funny. We love Terry. No, we don't, I say. Yes, we do, shout the Andys. Terry is cool. No, I say, he's not. Yes, he is, say the Andys. Infinity times more than whatever you say. Darn. They've got me there, but, hey, who can blame them? They learned from the master. Okay, you win, I say. But it doesn't change the fact that we're not in the movie. Who cares, they shout. Terry is our favorite anyway. Let's go see the filming. Bad idea, I say. We've been banned from the set. But the Andys just ignore me. They're too busy charging up Andy Street towards the main gate. No, I yell. Wait! Come back! You're supposed to be on my side. We are, they say, surging past me. But we like Terry better. Sorry. The Andys swarm out of Andyland. Up the ladder. And onto the observation deck where Mr. Big Shot is filming a reenactment of the time Terry got caught in a burp gas-filled bubblegum bubble. Hey, yells Mr. Big Shot. No Andys on the set. But the Andys ignore Mr. Big Shot. They just keep climbing, and climbing, and climbing. Mel Gibbon is whacking golf balls at the Andys. Trying to hold them back, but there are too many Andys, and not enough golf balls. The observation deck overloaded with way too many Andys is swaying dangerously. Abandon set, yells Mr. Big Shot. Abandon set. But it's too late. There is an enormous crack, the observation deck crumbles and we all crash into the forest below. Chapter 7. Cowduggery. All the Andys land in a big sprawling pile. But I land headfirst in a nearby prickle bush. The Andys are groaning and yelling and shouting as they try to untangle themselves. Some of them are angry. Some are laughing. And some are crying. Which is understandable. We all had a pretty big fall. Mr. Big Shot crawls out from under the pile of Andys and stands in front of them, his hands on his hips. Which one of you clowns is the real Andy? He demands. Me, they all shout. Me. 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 Let me put it another way then, growls Mr. Big M Shot, rolling up his sleeves. Nobody destroys my set and gets away with it. So which one of you wants to die first? Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. I know at this point I should come out of hiding and rescue the Andys, but hey, I don't want to die. Any more than they do. And it's their own fault, after all. I mean, I did try to stop them. I don't think any of them are the real Andy, says Jill, studying the Andy clones carefully. I know him pretty well and none of these Andys look quite right. Then where is he, says Mr. Big Shot. Probably hiding, says Mel Gibbon. He obviously put the Andys up to this to disrupt the filming. Pretty low trick to get a bunch of clueless clones to do your dirty work for you, but that's obviously the sort of person he is. Well, he'll find out what sort of person I am if he ever dares to show his face around here again, says Mr. Big Shot, pulling his cameras and camera operators from the pile. Come on, you lot, he barks. We've got to rebuild that observation deck and get this movie back on track. Let's go! As Mr. Big Shot and the crew leave, one of the low Andys turns to Terry and says, "Sorry we disrupted your movie, but it's not really our fault, you are a terrible observation deck builder." "It's not my fault," says Terry. "The deck wasn't designed to hold so many Andys. It's Andy's fault for letting you all out of Andyland." I want to yell, "I didn't let them out. I tried to stop them but they wouldn't listen, but that would mean giving away my hiding place and, all things considered, it's probably best for this Andy to stay hidden for the time being." "Come on, Andys," says one of the Andys. "Let's go back to Andyland. It's more fun there. And, Terry, if you see Andy, can you tell him we'd prefer he doesn't visit for a while? I think we need a little break from each other." "Sure," says Terry. "I know exactly how you feel." And with that, the Andys start hobbling and limping their way back to Andyland. "Poor Andy," says Jill. "He must be really upset to I have done something like this. Maybe you should go and find him, Terry, and tell him you're not mad at him, "But I am mad at him," says Terry. "Just because. He's not in the movie, he wants to wreck it for everybody else." "I know it looks like that," says Jill, as she and Terry and Mel start walking back towards the treehouse, "but maybe there's another side to the story. I'm not sure we can believe everything those Andys are telling us. Or anything the real Andy tells us either," says Mel. "I'm climbing out of the prickle bush when I hear voices. And mooing. And the unmistakable sound rate of cud chewing. A pair of trench-coated figures emerge from the trees on the other side of the clearing. They are holding microphones and recording equipment. Which is kind of weird, given that they are cows. I'm going to sneak up on them and find out what they're up to. I'm pretty well camouflaged with these prickles all over me, I just need something to cover up my head." I look around. All I can see is a whole bunch of dried-up old cow pats. Disgusting, but perfect. Pick one up, put it on my head and begin commando crawling towards the cows. As I get closer I hear one of them moo. Those crazy humans don't suspect a thing. Yeah, moos the other one. They have no idea that we have secretly infiltrated their treehouse with many spy cows such as ourselves and that we are stealing their movie, scene by scene, to make our own movie. For years the humans have milked us. Now we're milking them, for their ideas. Let's see how they like it. One of the spy cows moos quietly into a hoof-held walkie-talkie. Attention, all movie idea-stealing spy cows. The film crew, director and actors are heading back into the treehouse. Stay alert, and out of sight. So that's what they're up to. If there's one thing in the world I hate more than movie idea stealing, it's movie idea stealing spy cows. I've got to go and warn Mr. Big Shot right away. And he and everybody else will see that I'm OT trying to wreck the movie. Mr. Big Shot will probably be so impressed he'll rehire me and give me a starring role. There's no time to lose. I creep across the path to our front door, and when the spy cows aren't watching, slip inside. I climb the stairs and poke my head up into first story. "Eek," says Jill. "A peeping cow pat." "Ugh," says Terry. "Cow pats are disgusting." "Get that cow pat off my set," barks Mr. Big Shot. "I'm not a cow pat." I say. "It's me, Andy. I'm just wearing a cow pat hat for camouflage. I came to warn you there's a bunch of spy cows spying on you." They're going to steal all your ideas and make 101,992 ba their own movie. Do you really expect us to believe such a preposterous story? Says Mr. Big Shot. I know it sounds crazy, I say, but it's true. I saw them. And I heard them. I really don't think cows would do that, says Jill. They are such honest, trustworthy animals, not these ones, I say. They're spy cows. And if you don't believe me, go back through the book and see for yourself. There's a spy cow hiding on every single page. Asterisk. Asterisk, it's true, there really is. And sometimes there's even more than one. Are you out of your mind? Says Mr. Big Shot. We've got a movie to make. We haven't got time to be looking at boring old books, especially ones that haven't even been written yet. Fine. I say. I was only trying to help. Let the spy cows steal your stupid movie. See if I care. Hey, Andy, says Mel Gibbon. If what you say $1 is true, why don't you go and audition for the movie Making Cows? You make a very cold of convincing cowpat. Yeah, says Terry, you not only look the part but you smell like one, too. High five, my who man, says Mel,